Hare Krishna, my dear devotees, welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, right here in Hythe, Kent, southeast England, just near the English Channel. The world is going through an intense period. The world is always going through an intense period, but some are more intense than others. And Russia's invasion in the Ukraine is going to have knockdown effects all over the world. We hope that everyone is safe and well. It's ironic, in a sense, or an ironic coincidence that we'll be hearing tonight about how Mother Bhumi was looking like she was suffering, and how Dharma is inquiring from her about what the causes of the suffering could be. And they all match the things that are happening in the world today. It's amazing, simply amazing, how history repeats itself. To conditioned souls, we can't learn without the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Okay, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Mahima Stotram from Sri Krishna Lila Stava by Srila Sanatana Goswami glorifies the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the history of the universe. It goes like this. Sarva Shastrabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Satpala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drikprida. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. Sarva Bhagavata Prana, Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Prabho, Kali Dvandoditaditya, Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya, Prema Varshakshadayate, Sarvada Sarvasevyaya, Sri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguro Man Mahadana Mandistadaga Madbhagya Madananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu sadutadayin atini chochatakada hanamunchagadachin mam premna rit kantayokspura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the Vaishnava's heart is paradukha-dukhi. It suffers when it sees others suffering, and is happy when it sees others happy. Srila Prabhupada's mission was to make everyone happy in the world. And if we follow these simple spiritual laws of nature, we can be happy in the face of anything. So now Maharaj Parīkṣit, we've reached the 16th chapter of the first canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, how Parīkṣit received the age of Kali. So the symptoms of what we're hearing or witnessing today are being described here as Dharma, religion personified, inquires from the earth in the form of a cow why she's possibly disturbed. We're beginning with text 21. Are you feeling sorry for the unhappy women and children who were left forlorn by unscrupulous persons? Or are you unhappy because the goddess of learning is being handled by brahmanas addicted to acts against the principles of religion? Or are you sorry to see that the brahmanas have taken shelter of administrative families that do not respect Brahminical culture? Purport. In the age of Kali, the women and the children, along with brahmanas and cows, will be grossly neglected and left unprotected. In this age, illicit connection with women will render many women and children uncared for. Circumstantially, the women will try to become independent of the protection of men, and marriage will be performed as a matter of formal agreement between man and woman. In most cases, the children will not be taken care of properly. The brahmanas are traditionally intelligent men, and thus they will be able to pick up modern education to the topmost rank. But as far as moral and religious principles are concerned, they shall be the most fallen. Education and bad character go ill together, but such things will run parallel. The administrative heads of a class will condemn the tenets of Vedic wisdom and will prefer to conduct a so-called secular state, and the so-called educated brahmanas will be purchased by such unscrupulous administrators. Even a philosopher and writer of many books on religious principles may also accept an exalted post in a government which denies all the moral codes of the Shastras. The brahmanas are specifically restricted from accepting such service, but in this age they will not only accept service, but they will do so even if it is of the meanest quality. These are some of the symptoms of the Kali age, which are harmful to the general welfare of human society. Text 22. The so-called administrators are now bewildered by the influence of this age of Kali, and thus they have put all state affairs into disorder. Are you now lamenting this disorder? Now the general populace does not follow the rules and regulations for eating, sleeping, drinking, mating, and so on, and they're inclined to perform such anywhere and everywhere. Are you unhappy because of this? Purport. There are some necessities of life on a par with those of the lower animals, and they are eating, sleeping, fearing, and mating. These bodily demands are for both the human beings and the animals. But the human being has to fulfill such desires, not like animals, but like a human being. A dog can mate with a bitch before the public eyes without hesitation, but if a human being does so, the act will be considered a public nuisance, and the person will be criminally prosecuted. Therefore, for the human being, there are some rules and regulations, even for fulfilling common demands. The human society avoids such rules and regulations when it is bewildered by the influence of the age of Kali. In this age, people are indulging in such necessities of life without following the rules and regulations, and this deterioration of social and moral rules is certainly lamentable because of the harmful effects of such beastly behavior. In this age, the fathers and the guardians are not happy with the behavior of their wards. They should know that so many innocent children are victims of bad association awarded by the influence of this age of Kali. We know from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that Ajamil, an innocent son of a Brahmana, was walking down a road and saw a Shudra pair sexually embracing. This attracted the boy, and later on the boy became a victim of all debaucheries. From a pure Brahmana, he fell down to the position of a wretched urchin, and it was all due to bad association. There was but one victim like Ajamil in those days. But in this age of Kali, the poor innocent students are daily victims of cinema shows which attract men only for sex indulgence. The so-called administrators are all untrained in the affairs of a Kshatriya. The Kshatriyas are meant for administration, as the Brahmanas are meant for knowledge and guidance. The word Kshatrabandhu refers to the so-called administrators or persons promoted to the post of administrator without proper training by culture and tradition. Nowadays they are promoted to such exalted posts by the votes of the people, who are themselves fallen in the rules and regulations of life. How can such people select a proper man when they are themselves fallen in the standards of life? Therefore, by the influence of the age of Kali, everywhere, politically, socially, or religiously, everything is topsy-turvy. And therefore, for the sane man, it is regrettable to see such a state of the general welfare of human society. Text 23. O Mother Earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, incarnated himself as Lord Sri Krishna just to unload your heavy burden. All his activities here are transcendental, and they cement the path of liberation. You are now bereft of his presence. You are probably now thinking of those activities and feeling sorry in their absence. Purport. The activities of the Lord include liberation, but they are more relishable than the pleasure derived from nirvana or liberation. According to Srila Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, the word used here is nirvana vidampitani, that which minimizes the value of liberation. To attain nirvana, liberation, one has to undergo a severe type of tapasya, austerity. But the Lord is so merciful that he incarnates to diminish the burden of the earth. Simply by remembering such activities, one can defy the pleasure derived from nirvana and reach the transcendental abode of the Lord to associate with him, eternally engaged in his blissful, loving service. Text 24. Mother, you are the reservoir of all riches. Please inform me of the root cause of your tribulations, by which you have been reduced to such a weak state. I think that the powerful influence of time, which conquers the most powerful, might have forcibly taken away all your fortune, which was adored even by the demigods. Purport. By the grace of the Lord, each and every planet is created fully equipped. Not only is this earth fully equipped with all the riches for the maintenance of its inhabitants, but also when the Lord descends to the earth, the whole earth becomes so enriched with all kinds of opulences that even the denizens of heaven worship it with all attention. But by the will of the Lord, the whole earth can at once be changed. He can do and undo a thing by his sweet will. Therefore, no one should consider himself to be self-sufficient or independent of the Lord. Text 25. The earthly deity, in the form of a cow, thus replied to the personality of religious principles in the form of a bull. O Dharma, whatever you have inquired from me is already known to you, yet I shall try to reply to all those questions. Once you too were maintained by your 4 legs, and you increased happiness all over the universe by the mercy of the Lord. Purport. The principles of religion are laid down by the Lord himself, and the executor of such laws is Dharmaraj, or Yamaraj. Such principles work fully in the age of Satya Yuga. In the Treta Yuga, they are reduced by a fraction of 1/4. In the Dwapara Yuga, they are reduced to 1/2, and in the Kali Yuga, they are reduced to 1/4, gradually diminishing to the 0 point. And then devastation takes place. Happiness in the world depends proportionately on the maintenance of the religious principles, individually or collectively. The best part of valor is to maintain the principles despite all kinds of odds. Thus one can be happy during the span of life and ultimately go back home, back to Godhead. Text 26 through 30. In him reside 1. Truthfulness, 2. Cleanliness, 3. Intolerance of others' unhappiness, 4. The power to control anger, 5. Self-satisfaction, 6. Straightforwardness, 7. Steadiness of mind, 8. Control of the sense organs, 9. Responsibility, 10. Equality, 11. Tolerance, 12. Equanimity, 13. Faithfulness, 14. Knowledge, 15. Absence of sense enjoyment, 6. Leadership, 7. Chivalry, 18. Influence, 19. The power to make everything possible, 20. The discharge of proper duty, 21. Complete independence, 22. Dexterity, 23. Fullness of all beauty, 24. Serenity, 25. Kind-heartedness, 26. Ingenuity, 27. Gentility, 28. Magnanimity, 29. Determination, 30. Perfection in all knowledge, 31. Proper execution, 32. Possession of all objects of enjoyment, 33. joyfulness. 34, immovability. 35, fidelity. 36, fame. 37, being worshipable. 38, pridelessness. 39, being the personality of Godhead. 40, eternity, and many other transcendental qualities which are eternally present and never to be separated from Him. The personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all goodness and beauty, Lord Sri Krishna has now closed His transcendental pastimes on the face of the earth. In His absence, the age of Kali has spread its influence everywhere. So I am sorry to see this condition of existence. Purport. Even if it were possible to count the atoms after smashing the earth into powder, still it would not be possible to estimate the unfathomable transcendental qualities of the Lord. It is said that Lord Anantadev has tried to expound the transcendental qualities of the Supreme Lord with his numberless tongues, and that for numberless years together it has been impossible to estimate the qualities of the Lord. The above statement of the qualities of the Lord is just to estimate His qualities as far as a human being is able to see them in Him. But even if it is so, the above qualities can be divided into many subheadings. According to Jiva Goswami, the third quality, intolerance of others' unhappiness, can be subdivided into 1, protection of the surrendered souls, and 2, good wishes for the devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord states that He wants every soul to surrender unto Him only, and He assures everyone that if one does so, He will give protection from the reactions of all sins. Unsurrendered souls are not devotees of the Lord, and thus there is no particular protection for everyone in general. For the devotees, He has all good wishes, and for those who are actually engaging in loving transcendental service of the Lord, He gives particular attention. He gives direction to such pure devotees to help them discharge their responsibilities on the path to Godhead. Equality, number 10, indicates that the Lord is equally kind to everyone, as the sun is equal in distributing its rays over everyone. Yet there are many who are unable to take advantage of the sun's rays. Similarly, the Lord says that surrendering unto Him is the guarantee for all protection from Him. But unfortunate persons are unable to accept this proposition, and therefore they suffer from all material miseries. So even though the Lord is equally well-wishing to everyone, the unfortunate living being, due to bad association only, is unable to accept His instructions in toto, and for this the Lord is never to be blamed. He is called the well-wisher for the devotees only. He appears to be partial to His devotees, but factually the matter rests on the living being to accept or reject equal treatment by the Lord. Steadiness of mind, number 7, can be expanded to also mean that the Lord never deviates from His word of honor. When He gives assurance for protection, the promise is executed in all circumstances. It is the duty of the pure devotee to be fixed in the discharge of the duty entrusted to him by the Lord or the Lord's bona fide representative, the spiritual master. The rest is carried out by the Lord without a break. The responsibility of the Lord is also unique. The Lord has no responsibility because all his work is done by his different appointed energies. But still, he accepts voluntary responsibilities in displaying different roles in his transcendental pastimes. As a boy, he was playing the part of a cowherd boy. As the son of Nanda Maharaj, he discharged the responsibility perfectly. Similarly, when he was playing the part of a Kshatriya, as the son of Maharaj Vasudeva, he displayed all the skill of a martially spirited Kshatriya. In almost all cases, the Kshatriya king has to secure a wife by fighting or kidnapping. This sort of behavior for a Kshatriya is praiseworthy in the sense that a Kshatriya must show his power of chivalry to his would-be wife, so that the daughter of a Kshatriya can see the valor of her would-be husband. Even the personality of Godhead, Sri Rama, displayed such a spirit of chivalry during his marriage. He broke the strongest bow, called Haradanur, and achieved the hand of Sita Devi, the mother of all opulence. The Kshatriya spirit is displayed during marriage festivals, and there is nothing wrong in such fighting. Lord Sri Krishna discharged such responsibility fully, because although he had more than 16,000 wives, in each and every case he fought like a chivalrous Kshatriya. He fought like a chivalrous Kshatriya, and thus secured a wife. To fight 16,000 times to secure 16,000 wives is certainly possible only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, he displayed full responsibility in every action of his different transcendental pastimes. The 14th quality, knowledge, can be further extended into 5 subheadings, namely 1. Intelligence, 2. Gratefulness, 3. Power of understanding the circumstantial environments of place, object, and time, 4. Perfect knowledge of everything, and 5. Knowledge of the self. Only fools are ungrateful to their benefactors. The Lord, however, does not require benefit from anyone besides himself, because he is full in himself. Still, he feels benefited by the unalloyed services of his devotees. The Lord feels grateful to his devotees for such unsophisticated, unconditional service, and tries to reciprocate it by rendering service to them, although the devotees have no such desire in their hearts. Rendering transcendental service to the Lord is itself a transcendental benefit for the devotee, and therefore the devotee has nothing to expect from the Lord. On the assertion of the Vedic aphorism, Sarvam Kal Vidam Brahma, Sarvam Kal Vidam Brahma, we can understand that the Lord, by the omnipresent rays of his effulgence, called Brahma-Jyoti, is all-pervading, inside or outside of everything, like the omnipresent material sky, and thus he is also omniscient. As far as the beauty of the Lord is concerned, he has some special features that distinguish him from all other living beings. And over and above that, he has some special attractive, beautiful features by which he attracts the mind of even Radharani, the supermost beautiful creation of the Lord. And he is known, therefore, as Madana Mohan, or one who attracts the mind of even Cupid. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has scrutinizingly analyzed other transcendental qualities of the Lord and affirms that Lord Sri Krishna is the absolute, supreme personality of Godhead, Para Brahman. He is omnipotent by his inconceivable energies, and therefore he is the Yogeshwar, or the supreme master of all mystic powers. Because he is the Yogeshwar, his eternal form is spiritual, a combination of eternity, bliss, and knowledge. The non-devotee class cannot understand the dynamic nature of his knowledge because they are satisfied to reach up to his eternal form of knowledge. All great souls aspire to be equal in knowledge with him. This means that all other knowledge is ever insufficient, flexible, and measurable, whereas the knowledge of the Lord is ever fixed and unfathomable. Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Sutta Goswami affirms in the Bhagavatam that although he was observed by the citizens of Dwarka every day, they were ever increasingly anxious to see him again and again. The living beings can appreciate the qualities of the Lord as the ultimate goal, but they cannot attain the status quo of such equality. This material world is a product of the Mahat Tattva, which is a state of the Lord's dreaming condition in his yoga nidra, mystic slumber in the causal ocean. And yet the whole creation appears to be a factual presentation. This means that the Lord's dreaming conditions are also factual manifestations. He can therefore bring everything under his transcendental control, and thus whenever and wherever he does appear, he does so in his fullness. The Lord being all that is described above, he alone can maintain the affairs of the creation, and by his so doing, he gives salvation even to his enemies who are killed by him. He is attractive even to the topmost liberated souls, and thus he is worshipable even by Brahma and Shiva, the greatest of all demigods. Even in his incarnation of Purusha avatar, he is the Lord of the creative energy. The creative material energy is working under his direction, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9:10. He is the control switch of the material energy, and to control the material energy in the innumerable universes, he is the root cause of innumerable incarnations in all the universes. He is the root cause of innumerable incarnations. There are more than 500,000 incarnations of Manu in only one universe, besides other incarnations, and thus we can simply imagine the number of his incarnations in all the universes. In the spiritual world, however, beyond the Mahatattva, there is no question of incarnations, but there are plenary expansions of the Lord in the different Vaikunthas. The planets in the spiritual sky are at least 3 times the number of those within the innumerable universes in the Mahatattva. And all the Narayana forms of the Lord are but expansions of his Vasudev feature. And thus he is Vasudev, Narayana, and Krishna simultaneously. He is Sri Krishna Govinda, Hare Murare, He Nata Narayana, Vasudeva, all in one. Can you hand me a Kleenex, please? Thank you. His qualities, therefore, cannot be counted by anyone, however great one may be. And it's almost, well, it's past 7:50, so we will stop our reading tonight here and continue with text, from text 31 tomorrow. Hare Krishna. All glories to the glories of the Lord. Inconceivable. Okay, so all assembled sages, you hope that you are there and hearing nicely, and we're ready to hear from you, your reflections and discussions on this wonderful section of the Bhagavatam.
First is from Pranata Karuna.
Hare Krishna Pranata Karuna Haribol.
He says, Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances.
Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
And from Rai Kanu.
Haribol Rai Kanu.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai, all glories to His Divine Grace. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your daily reading.
Mm.
And from Rati Manjari.
Haribol Rati.
She says, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Haribol. Jai Ho.
And Gopakanya.
Yes, Gopakanya.
Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj, and all assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
And from Gemma Rutter. Gemma
Gemma Ratu.
Rutter. Rutter.
Gemma Rutter.
Yes.
Gemma Rutter. Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Guru Maharaj Ji. Beautiful with the Sanskrit verses. Nice. Thank you. Jai Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Sudevi Dasi says, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Bol Sudevi Dasi. Hare Krishna.
Jai Krishna Prapanadas.
Jai Krishna Prapanadas. Hare Bol.
He says, Hare Krishna from Kathmandu.
Kathmandu. Hare Bol. I was there a few times. Hare Krishna.
And from Yadutama.
Hare Bol Yadutama.
He says, please pray for the devotees in Ukraine.
Yes. Yes. And all of us should pray for all the Ukrainians, but particularly the devotees, that they will be safe somehow or other from this onslaught. So interesting, isn't it, how we're hearing about all the qualities of the Kali Yuga, and how we're seeing this unfold in front of our eyes. And, you know, maybe not exactly in front of our eyes, but the hearing of it is very sobering and very, lesson giving. And it's just the beginning. Just the beginning of the Kali Yuga. So it takes something as powerful as the descriptions of the glories of the Lord and the glories of the pastimes of the Lord to give us a taste that is above all of that. It's not easy to maintain this taste in such an environment, but it is definitely possible by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Chaitanya's associates and followers, sincere followers. That is the precious, special gift He has given us in this age of Kali. Hare Krishna. That in spite of all the chaos, we can feel this transcendental bliss of hearing together with the devotees the Lord's activities and glories, qualities, glorious qualities. Hare Krishna.
And from Anandamurti Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, Anandamurti.
Dear Guru Maharaj, thank you so much for today's readings. Quote, "It is the duty of the pure devotee to be fixed in the discharge of the duty entrusted to him by the Lord or the Lord's bona fide representative, the spiritual master. The rest is carried on by the Lord without a break."
Yes.
Unquote. This is what to remember always in my heart.
Yes. Yes, because he is, he's steadiness personified. He never fails, ever. Therefore, if we take shelter of him fully, we will also never fail. And if we do so, Maya cannot touch us. I think I mentioned to you that many years ago when I was in Spain, they read out the third letter that was channeled in Fatima in Portugal. And the third letter was held up from being read for years out of fear of what the contents would contain, because the first two letters were read out and they predicted World War I and World War II. And sure enough, the third letter, when it was finally read out upon great protest by all of the pilgrims that came to the festival that surrounded that event every year, and millions of people would come, and they protested so vigorously that the Vatican had to read out that third letter. And they did so in public during the Fatima festival. And in it said that there would be another big war, that nuclear weapons would be used. But it also said that the devotees, the sincere devotees of God, would be protected and be placed in places that would keep them safe. And the last thing it said was that the priests of the Catholic Church had fallen from grace. Very sobering. And we can see it all playing out, you know. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I missed this comment from Yadutama.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Yadutama.
Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances and all glories to Prabhupada. In light of everything, I want to thank you for reading the Bhagavatam to us, for it is actually the only news worth hearing, no matter what my monkey mind is drawn to. Thanks for giving me a real fighting chance against Maya, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. It's the glories of Srila Prabhupada's transcendental compassion. Yeah. I said it today and I said it yesterday, that Prabhupada's goal was to make others happy. And he would sacrifice anything himself in order to achieve that goal. So we may not be able to imitate him. We cannot imitate him without a shadow of a doubt. But we can take our own capacity and give peace a chance by continuously hearing every day and trying to broadcast the contents of these transcendental literatures, the history of the universe as it unfolds, to give some real transcendental entertainment to people. They want to be entertained. They want to have, adventures and drama and thrills and all those things. It's nature of the soul to have transcendental engagements and interesting things to do. But nothing can compare to the pastimes of Krishna and his pure devotees and his incarnations and expansions in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Nothing can compare to it. So let us learn the art of relishing it, and then by our association giving it to others and giving them some relief from this chaos that are being created by these maniacs, who are now in charge of whole countries. Hare Krishna.
And from Gemma Ratu.
Gemma Ratu, Hare Krishna.
Hey, Namaste, Hari Bolo, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol.
From Gopi Chandra Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, Gopi Chandra.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very calming to hear you read. There is so much unrest in the world right now. I'm in anxiety over the situation in Ukraine.
Yes. If we are not, we don't have a heart to see the suffering that's going on by the people unnecessarily. It's very disturbing, but what we can do, like I said before, is to ourselves absorb ourselves in transcendental thought that will not only give us calmness, as you mentioned, from the modes of passion and ignorance, which are very, very prominent right now, destructive and horrible, but it will also give us a positive taste of real, something real to take pleasure from. Not for sense gratification, but by the association of the Lord. Association with the Lord can solve all of our problems. I just heard Gopi Purāṇa quote the last verse of the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richyate. So we can have peace. We can actually attain peace of mind, of senses, by accepting these three things. That the Lord is the giver of benedictions, the only giver of benedictions, that He is the proprietor of everything, and those two, without the third one, are a little heavy, daunting. The control of everything, the giver of benediction, but He's the well-wishing friend of everyone. And you have to put this all together in order to be able to be pacified by the constant upheavals of this material world. So we may not be able to escape the upheavals physically, but we can escape them internally. Yontak sukontaramas tatantar jyotir Bhāgavata. That one who's looking inward for happiness and real life attains the Brahmabhuta stage, Brahmabhutaya kalpate. Hare Krishna.
From Krishnangi Mulder.
Haribo Krishnangi Mulder.
Hare Krishna, thank you. All the qualities of Krishna and the timelessness of Srila Prabhupada's purports and the timeliness of them. A section of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam I have now marked to sit in reflection and contemplation.
Yes, good. Very good. That's a very nice reflection.
and from Anandamurti.
Haribol Anandamurti.
Yesterday and the day before yesterday, in 2 days, I distributed 7 Bhagavad Gita and 2 more Bhagavad Gitas from my restaurant, and about 20 small books I have distributed on the street. Hare Krishna, all those is by Krishna's mercy through Srila Prabhupada, and it is through you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your encouraging words and your pure devotional service. Yeah. Next time, tell us more about the new young people who are coming. Let us know. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Gauranga Gopal.
Haribol Gauranga Gopal.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
It is very nice to hear about Krishna's beautiful qualities. I had some realization by discussing with my family and friends that whatever the topic was, something was terribly lacking. Such incompleteness without Krishna. Krishna Katha is the only topic that actually satisfies the heart. I have been hearing a lot of mundane sound lately, and I feel more restless than ever. Thank you for reading with and to us. It is bringing my mind to a state of peace.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. That's wonderful reflection, and it's the truth. It's the truth. It's simple. Prabhupada once said, Krishna consciousness is so simple, you can miss it. It's like going through you're going on a train, on a journey on a car, and you come to a very small town. You know, the signboard, you know, of entrance and exit are so close together. If you're not careful, you'll miss it. So Krishna consciousness is so simple. You can be happy just by remembering Krishna, just by hearing about Krishna, chanting his names, preparing and offering and honoring his prasadam, and yeah, it makes our life worth living. It gives us relief from material existence and gives us a taste of real satisfaction, real pleasure. Why not? Who won't want to hear more and more? Only those who are killing themselves in different ways. Hare Krishna. Jai Daitari Hari.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thanks again for giving us your daily shelter. On the point, quote, the transcendental service of the Lord is itself a transcendental benefit for the devotee, and therefore the devotee has nothing to expect from the Lord, unquote. I'm a long way off this. I often feel like I'm doing devotional service for the right reasons and with the right understanding, but get easily derailed by certain triggers that remind me of my own inadequacy, and then the idea that I can't be the full controller of my environment and change my life circumstances disturbs my mind. I lack trust and faith that taking full shelter in Krishna and his service is the only thing worthwhile. I really need to overcome this.
Well, you just gave a very nice excursion into what everyone has to learn. It's not just you. It's everybody in the whole material world has to learn this. You can learn it either by hearing or by direct experience, or both, a little of both. But it has to be done. That's why the emphasis on the Gita is to do one's duty. Whatever your duty is, keep busy, keep engaged in devotional service. And then even if your mind is screaming at you, it won't be able to get the better of you. There's an intimate connection between the senses and the mind. And if you keep your senses always engaged in devotional service, the mind will settle down automatically. And if your mind can always think of Krishna, then your senses will automatically be engaged constantly in devotional service. When Prabhupada was on his disappearance bed, one thing that he said a few times was that he's just wanting to see his devotees always busy in devotional service, doing something for Krishna. Doesn't matter what it is, just doing something for Krishna with your senses and your mind. This is sadhana bhakti, devotional service in practice. So we hear about the glories of the Lord and the glories of His pure devotees, and this deep philosophical explanation of the way things are and the way things could be and should be, to relieve us of these anarthas. And the main one is to chant Hare Krishna. We may think so many things, but if you can just concentrate your mind while you're chanting your japa, concentrate your mind on the sound of Krishna's name. You don't have to think of anything else. Just try to concentrate your mind on the sound. Just like when you're having a good conversation with someone you care about, in order to relish it, you have to listen carefully to what they're saying and respond properly. And then you get, relief from, your mind becomes peaceful just by doing that. So if we learn the art of chanting Hare Krishna without offense, with rapt attention, just by hearing the sound. Srila Prabhupada never spoke very much about what we should think of when we're chanting Hare Krishna. Because our minds are very restless. And therefore the ordinary kind of meditation that are recommended, and even remembering the pastimes of the Lord in the mind continuously, that's very difficult to achieve. But to hear the sound of the holy name, and to hear the sound of these transcendental literatures, that is possible for everyone. So by doing that, these other anomalies in the heart will gradually be removed. Just don't stop hearing and chanting, and don't stop engaging your senses and being active for serving Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Devidasi.
Yes, Gopakanya Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj. All scary forecasts of Kali Yuga with open heart surgery. Commentaries of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. But all hopes side by side if we follow Kali Yuga Pavana Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes.
And his sincere followers.
Absolutely.
So lucky we are having your daily reading service of Srila Prabhupada's books, association and faithfully listening and trying to apply in life, and take the safe side, keeping Krishna in the center of our attention in the surrendered mode. Thank you, dear Maharaj.
Very nice. Gopakanya comes through with the goods, the deep reflections of a thoughtful devotee. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And from Rati Manjari.
Haribo Rati.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Happy to catch the tail of this reading after my meeting with Jai Gopal Prabhu about the book prices of our upcoming web shop. Good to see you again, my anchor in the storm of life. Thank you for remaining sane in this turbulent time, day after day.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, everybody needs encouragement, and you guys are piling it on. I can't feel anything but encouraged. Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
And from Daitari Hari.
Haribo Daitari Hari.
Incredible Maharaj, thank you. Your answers are always perfect. So grateful for your compassion and guidance.
Hare Krishna, Haribo. Thank you everyone for your lovely reflections as usual, and just for being here. Just for being here with us every day. It's effective. And it's spreading. The taste is spreading. I'm getting, notifications of so many people from all over the world who are, you know, even not online necessarily, but in the YouTube watching and in the Facebook watching at a different time, because they're all archived there. And a lot of people are getting benefit and feeling relief. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Samabeda Bhakta Brinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. See you tomorrow night. Same time, same place, same topic. How to understand what's going on here and not be disturbed by it. Hare Krishna. See you tomorrow.